half a dozen states in the Midwest are cleaning up this morning after a rare storm with 100-mile-an-hour winds that tore across hundreds of miles. The so-called derecho packed the power of a hurricane 1,000 miles from any ocean.
Half a dozen states in the Midwest are cleaning up this morning after a rare storm with 100-mile-an-hour winds that tore across hundreds of miles. The so-called derecho packed the power of a hurricane 1,000 miles from any ocean. So, yeah, Midwest, we've had that before. Half a dozen, a lot of people missed it. She says, Now, you guys, 100-mile-an-hour winds. Now, most of you did not put a hyphen here, but we need a hyphen there. So this is a tough question. This is a bonus point question. Why? Can you explain why we actually need a hyphen there? And I know many Americans probably wouldn't put a hyphen there, but actually you need to have a hyphen there. Why? 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 Why do we need to have a hyphen in that situation? That's what I want to know. That tour, a lot of tour. Most people wrote tour. Tour, hundreds of miles. Packed, especially the ED, packed the power. It's past tense situation. So we need that ED. All right. Half, there's no L when we say half. There's no L. Remember that, no L. Half a dozen states in the Midwest are cleaning up this afternoon. Half a dozen states in the Midwest are cleaning up this afternoon after a rare storm, after a rare storm with 100-mile-an-hour winds, with 100-mile-an-hour winds that tore across. That's a tough one. With 100-mile-an-hour winds that tore across hundreds of miles. Tore across hundreds of miles. The so-called derecho, and we don't need to make this a big D. A lot of you wrote big D. Actually, we don't need it. The so-called derecho packed the power. Ooh, good alliteration there. Packed the power of a hurricane. Hence the title, right? 1,000 miles from any ocean. 1,000 miles from any ocean. Okay. So once again, it's the anchor. Her pronunciation is very good. I was surprised to see the number of problems. And this one and this one, these two especially caused lots of problems. So let's see if you can hear it again. That's going to be tough. Tour is easy. We can hear that one. I'm giving it to you. This one is going to be tough, but why is it tough? You know why it's tough. Packed the. But the T and the TH are similar sounds. So we put those sounds together, and when we connect similar sounds, what happens? We connect, and we keep the second sound. So pack the. The T isn't canceled, but it gets absorbed. Pack the, okay? It gets absorbed. It should be packed the, but nobody is going to speak that slow. Very rarely will you hear packed the. You're not going to hear that. All right, here we go. 2 times. Good. So let's go back here. Half a dozen states in the Midwest. So 6 states. So we can say Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, maybe Michigan. I'm guessing those are the 6 states. I don't know. Are cleaning up this morning after a rare storm with winds. Winds? No. Is part of the adjective that describes the winds. And I'm giving a bonus point to both Hajime and Gulia for their answers. Winds is plural. So if you left without a hyphen, winds doesn't make any sense. You cannot say winds. It has to be the winds would work, but they didn't say the. They said So is part of the adjective. That's why we need a hyphen after okay? And both of you guys, Hajime and Gulia, gave great definitions on why we need to do that. So excellent job. BP to both of you. Half a dozen states in the Midwest are cleaning up this morning after a rare storm. The derecho is not common. With 100-mile-an-hour winds, that's really fast. That's about 140 kilometer per hour winds that tore across. And the idea of tear, it's like with paper. Here's a receipt. So this is the idea of tear, right? So tore across, we can imagine these winds just whipped and tore everything up, tore across hundreds of miles. Wow. The so-called derecho, this type of storm is called a derecho. The so-called derecho packed the power of a hurricane. So if something packs power, that means inside it is a lot of power. So as you guys know, I had a truck and I would plow the driveway with my truck. That engine packed a lot of power. It was a 3/4 ton, 2500 model Chevy, old truck. I got rid of it. It was costing me too much money to fix. But that truck packed a lot of power. It was a very powerful truck. This storm packed a lot of power. It was a very powerful storm. As powerful as a hurricane or a typhoon or a cyclone. Okay? The so-called derecho packed the power of a hurricane, but hurricanes need an ocean. 1,000 miles from any ocean. Wow.
Half a dozen states in the Midwest are cleaning up this morning after a rare storm with 100-mile-an-hour winds that tore across hundreds of miles. The so-called derecho packed the power of a hurricane 1,000 miles from any ocean. Half a dozen states in the Midwest are cleaning up this morning after a rare storm with 100-mile-an-hour winds that tore across hundreds of miles. The so-called derecho packed the power of a hurricane 1,000 miles from any ocean.